Hi there, I'm Dark Shades. I pop by every now and then. So I'm not one of these YouTubers who always just talk for the sake of talking. I need to have something that I feel might resonate with someone. And so today I wanted to talk about temptation. If it's the first time you're passing through, I am Dark Shades. I'm also known as Black Bright. On my Black Bright channel, I talk about news, views, I give my comments on legislation and anything that's quite political or social. So on that side, on Black Bright View, that's what I do. On Dark Shades, however, it's more to do with, it's not necessarily a counselling session, but it's more to do with domestic issues and, relationship and adverse childhood experiences. So that's what I talk about on this channel and ways that we can overcome some of our idiosyncrasies if we want to, and some of those little areas in our behavior or attitude that might need to be adjusted. So today I wanted to talk about temptation, a stepping stone or an obstacle or a stumbling block, same thing. The reason why I wanted to talk about this is because when we think about temptation, we always think it's about something dishonest. We feel as though we're going to be tempted to do something wrong. We're going to be tempted to commit adultery. We're going to be tempted to steal. We're going to be tempted to murder, that kind of thing. When we think about temptation, we kind of put it in this big kind of area that we know, even lusting after someone's boyfriend or something, that is considered temptation. Now, when I was reading this book, The Purpose Driven Life, and it's the inspiration behind this video. So I was thinking about the things I'm tempted to do. And one of the things I'm tempted to do, or used to be, no, I'm still tempted to do it. One of the things I'm tempted to do is criticize. I don't know whether it's criticize, I don't know whether it's observe, I don't know whether it's commentary, but whenever I see someone or anybody, I don't even have to know them, I'll make some comment on the way they're dressed or the way they look, and I think somewhere is the inner image consultant in me. I'll be saying, oh, why do they have to wear their hair like that? Their hair would be better like this. Why do they have to wear that type of dress? They should be wearing this type of dress. Those shoes don't match the jacket. The way she's got her makeup, it's too heavy. She's a bit, the dress that she's gotten doesn't complement her, the size that she is. And I would be doing this all the time. So I decided, because sometimes it would get a bit extreme. So a few years ago, I decided I would stop doing that. I would stop making these criticisms and sharing them with other people. Because once you share them with other people, that's when it becomes, your temptation becomes a stumbling block. You can't grow when you actually manifest that temptation. So more recently, I've been more aware of how I criticize others, and I'm not an authority, I'm not an image consultant, so I can't pretend that I am, but I've kind of withdrawn from that. But what I find is why I said temptation can be a stepping stone or a stumbling block is because I actually shared with my daughter that I found criticism uncomfortable. And I realized, even after I said it, that it's something that I do. And I was actually the one instrumental in her life of being so critical. Because when I was young growing up, I used to criticize everything and everyone. So, but more recently, it felt a bit uncomfortable. And maybe it's because I was trying not to do it anymore. Anyway, the long and short of it is that I mentioned it to her, and she said, "Oh, if I'd known, I wouldn't have said something like that to you." But the funny thing is that I said that on Saturday, I think it was probably Friday night, And then on Saturday night, I decided to watch Coming to America 2. And the original was in 1988. And this one, of course, is in 2020 or 2021. I'm not quite sure when it was released. And so you've got that 40-year or whatever it is gap. And so my instinct, as soon as I started watching it, was to criticize how old the people had got. And it was all bubbling up, and I was thinking, oh, I must tell my daughter. And I remembered I'd already told her that I don't like criticism, so I had to hold it. But I was tempted to criticize. But in holding it, that is where it becomes a stepping stone to self-improvement. I mean, I know I only held it because I didn't feel I was able to share it with her. But the fact of the matter is that I made myself aware that I was tempted to criticize, and I actually stopped it. And once you stop it and it doesn't manifest out into reality, then you're on your way to self-growth. Because once you're aware of something, that's how you actually change. So I thought it was quite interesting how it's instinctual for me to criticize or to observe or to make some comment, oh, look how they look, or, that person had Botox. I wonder if that person, has got a wig on, or whatever it is. But I found myself doing it. But this time it was in my head. It didn't come out of my mouth. So, temptation. What I'm trying to say is temptation can be tempting to keep up bad habits. You're tempted to maintain bad habits. You're trying to change them, but then you are tempted to maintain them. It's like when you want to lose weight, and you decide you're going to lose weight, and then you're tempted to eat something that contradicts that goal, and will put you in back a few steps. So temptation doesn't have to be for evil. It can be anything that is either, you can use it as an opportunity, or you can use it as something else. But that is what temptation is. So I wrote down a few notes here. I'll try not to duplicate what I've already said. Is there a distinction between criticism and opinion? Now, when I look at people and I think to myself, oh, that doesn't suit her, she shouldn't wear that striped dress with those flowery trousers. Is that my opinion? Is that a criticism? Is that an observation? I think from what it comes out of your mouth, it becomes a criticism. It could be an opinion, but it depends on how you say it, or what you say it. Or what you say, I should say. So, supposing I say, goodness, bloody hell, she's gross. I'd have to ask myself, why did you say she was gross? Is it because she's using profanities? Is it because she's drunk? Is it because she's slurping her food? Is it because she has no etiquette? Is it because she's unclean, or she looks unclean? Why am I calling her gross? So then when you start asking that question, you then could say, I wonder what made her leave the house looking like that. It puts a different spin on it. I wonder why she swears so much. I wonder why her attitude is so self-destructive. Because once you start asking questions, it doesn't become a criticism. You're then questioning the person, why that person might be in that situation. And it gives you pause for thought. It then makes you think, okay, I'm not going to be judgmental about this person. What could be the reasons why she's behaving like that, why she looks like that, why I have interpreted it in that way? And then somebody might say, well, you know, her husband's just beating her up. She's been put out on the street. He threw petrol over her, or he threw mud over her. You know, he's taken everything. He's taken away the kids. He's kidnapped the kids. I don't know her story. So by making a judgment based on what I see in that instant, that's when it becomes a criticism. And that is what I'm trying to stop, because I don't know that person's background or their situation. And so, yeah, so now I'm aware of it. I try not to be tempted to get into that. It's in me to always try to redress people. You know, I kind of think I know what looks good on people. So people might say, look at the bloody shoot, look at her talking, look at the state of her bloody hair. You know what I mean? So it doesn't mean that I'm an authority. It's just that in my head, I think I can look at somebody and think I can dress them better than they can dress themselves. It's quite an arrogant statement to make, but that is why, well, that's my justification for doing what I do. So, I realized that this is how temptation becomes a stepping stone to change, to making one feel better, not only about themselves, but about others. And that is in stopping the cycle. There's nothing wrong with being tempted. Temptation simply provides a choice. I can choose to carry on my critical or judgmental ways, or I can prevent myself from manifesting that thought into being, and that would become a stepping stone. Temptation will always be there, presenting itself as an obstacle, convincing me that it's okay. I'm not doing any harm. No one knows but me. And that's what I tend to do. Oh, well, you know, they can't hear on the TV. They don't know what I'm saying. It's just me and maybe the person I'm sharing with. What harm is it doing? So we have to acknowledge that for us to find fault or to find something wrong with somebody else, there is something with our self-perception. So for me to be redressing people, it means that I look at myself as inadequate, or I'm not dressed properly, or I could improve my dress, and I become self-critical and place a very, very high standard on myself when I don't need to. So character development is the choice, temptation is the opportunity. So you can either choose to develop your character by, like I said, not carrying out the temptation. You can always think about it, but as long as you don't carry it out. Integrity is built by defeating the temptation to be dishonest or self-righteous. Humility grows when we are able to acknowledge our weaknesses and we are able to apologize for hurting others. Endurance develops every time we reject the temptation to give up. Every time you defeat temptation, you become a better person. And that's all I've got to say for now. I hope it makes sense. Bye-bye.